Hi guys, and welcome to the Voice of AI and our easy-to-use Flow Engineer guide to AI workflows. My name's Chris Plant from the Voice of AI, and today I'm going to show you how to create unique content from your podcast with some simple AI workflows. So if you're a podcast channel owner looking to enhance your content strategy, or whether you're looking to publish your podcast as a blog post on your website, or enable your subscribers to interact with your podcast, let's say by asking questions, I'm going to show you some really cool ways to do this. I'm going to use Flow Hunt today. So let's get started. Okay, we're going to create, first of all, unique content, and we're going to use a podcast example from My First Million. That's these guys here. This is a popular news show that's focused on big business and company growth, and we're going to use their podcast to demonstrate how you can repurpose content creatively, and that's unique content. So, okay, how are we going to use the podcast for interactive content? So what we're going to do now is we're going to just go to their YouTube channel here. So these are the guys, this is their website. And let's go over to their YouTube channel here, and you can see that there's lots and lots of videos here. So for instance, if we pick one of them, let's go for this I Lost Everything Twice. Okay, so I've opened that one here, and I've got all of the information here now. So I'm selecting my content first of all, and by using an MP3 or an MP4 of the podcast, you're going to be able to interact. So what I can do quickly is I could use a little program like this one to copy in the, let's say the link address here, pop it in here, and then I can convert and send off my MP3 and download it. Or I can just use the original content. Okay, so that's pretty useful. So then what we're going to do is we're going to go to Flow Hunt. I'm going to look at the flows that we've created here. So let's have a quick look now. So go back to our Flow Hunt. Let's have a look here. And these are the different channels I've created. So basically I've got a podcast chatbot here. And then I've also created some other linear podcasts here too. So for instance, if I select the content and I choose the podcast or video that I want to repurpose, I'm going to convert the file. So for instance, let's go into our documents here. And what I've done is I've uploaded, after I've downloaded the file, I've uploaded here a couple of files. And you can see here, I lost everything twice and then made 26 million in 18 months, right? So I've uploaded that and I've entitled that as a podcast. So for instance, when I go back to my flows now, and you can see now I've got the podcast here, I've got article from podcast and YouTube description from the podcast. I can simply go into my flow. Let's open that up now. And you can see here is my flow. Starts off with my input and obviously finishes with my output over here on the right-hand side. So let's just move over to there. You can see here's the output. And basically in my document retriever, what I've got here is I've chosen up here podcasts. Okay, so now I can decide which of the podcasts is here. So if I just go over here and let's have a look quickly. Let's take the name of the podcast here. So let's just copy the name of that podcast. Okay, just quickly put that in here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my flow and I'm going to open the chatbots quickly and let's just save that flow. And quickly, I'm just going to put in here the name of the title. Now, I can just tell it what I'd like to do. So like any chatbot now, I can use the information. So let's say, create a blog post on I Lost Everything Twice. Okay, so I can just kick that off. And the advantages of this are it's using that documentation and it's going to build that. And of course, this is in real time now. So what it's actually doing is it's going to build that document for me straight now. What I can also do is I can do some different commands as well. So here you see straight away. So I've got life is full of ups and downs on this entrepreneurial journey is no exception. This is really cool. And then you go to my first fail, the first fall I had, then the second fall that I had. So this is really interesting. And then you've got the road to recovery, the turnaround, and my key takeaways. Now that's pretty cool. And that can happen each time. So what I can also do is let's say I can create from the same thing again. Let's create a YouTube video podcast and you put the title in again. The reason you put the title in is because quite often you can have lots and lots of different videos in there, different podcasts, and you want to pick the one that you want to use today. So for instance, I could have uploaded the entire series. So here we go. We're going to do that again. And you can see quite quickly in real time, it's going to understand exactly where we are here. And straight away, look, you can see that now I've got a podcast description or a YouTube description. Here's the title, release date, description, and what you'll learn today, episode highlights, etc. Very, very, very quick and very, very good and absolutely relevant to what we've just done. So for instance, now I can also take another one, which for instance, let's say we're going to create let's make a set of socials. So we'll do that first. So let's pull in here again. Let's create a set of marketing socials, LinkedIn, Insta, X, and Facebook from I Lost Everything Twice, the podcast again. So it's taking the exact same thing again. And you can see straight away in this chatbot here, we're going to get exactly what we want as well coming up straight away. So this is pretty good. So we're going to really see these nice results now as well. You can see here now we've got LinkedIn. Here's the title, the post text as well. You've got the key takeaways. Then we've got our Instagram caption, new episode, link in bio, etc., etc. Then we've got X in here. Here's the tweet that you can make here as well. And here's perhaps your post text you can put in as well. So this is pretty cool indeed. Now, of course, this is very interesting from a chatbot perspective. But if I go back to my flows as well, I've created some different flows here. And for instance, this one is just typically for an article for a podcast. So for instance, in this particular case, all I've got to do is, because this has been created, and let's open my chatbot again here. This has been created to absolutely be extremely accurate. So for instance, this is a linear input, which means I've already got predefined prompts. So I just send that off now, and I'll show you in a second my prompt. So we can actually set up these prompts, and they can work very quickly indeed. And you can see that this is slightly different than the chatbot, because each time the chatbot is making something relevant. But on this linear output, you can see that I can specify and make it correct every time. So if I just go back to my flows here, I can check the prompt here, and I can see that my prompt is, I'm a professional copywriter writing a web page from a transcript of the podcast, and the output should be in this kind of description. So this is really, really interesting because I can make this as well. And this is fantastic to make schedules, and it's very good to have a different flow. And for instance, an example of these linear flows with predefined prompts means you can use them hundreds and hundreds and thousands of times. And by calling these APIs, you can definitely be concise, and you can make sure that the chatbot is creating a linear flow, and you get a much better result in this. So this linear API is a much better quality, and it creates a stable environment as well. Now, if I go back to my flows as well, let's just go back as well and save that flow. I'm going to go to YouTube description. Now, again, this is the same thing. I've actually, rather than just using a normal chatbot, this is a linear output. So this is going to help us in each way. So if I'm doing this on scale and I'm using hundreds and thousands of videos that I've got, I can actually output all of those to do it the same every single time. So you can see that this is very precise. I've got the title, I've got my timestamps, I've also got my key takeaways, the resources, and things like this. And I've even got my hashtag. So I can actually tell it each time what to do. And you can see on here, for instance, in the prompt, I can put that in exactly into my template here. So you're a professional copywriter. And so what I've done each time is I've created a flow with an input and output, a document retriever. And of course, I can set up that document retriever here to go to any different format that I've done. For instance, we've got SEOs, we've got different things in there, YouTube. And I can then go back to my flows here. I can go into my documents, and then I can just actually, let's have a look here. We can just go to the documents. And on the documents here, I can actually upload them, and then I can just change the category for podcast, videos, or whichever. And as long as I put the title into my chatbot each time, I'm going to find exactly the right output. On Flow Hunt now, I can actually copy any video in here, and I can show you that we've set up a little area here in a chatbot. So I can just copy, let's say, this particular one again here. Let's just copy the link, and I'll go back to my Flow Hunt, and I can actually just add the link here, and I can send that off now. And this will give me any information on this particular video as well. So for instance, if you want to chat with a video, if you want to talk to something, talk to the podcast and find out what's going on, you can do it here also. And this is pretty cool. Okay, so you can see straight away that we've done this here. So you can, for instance, put this on your website. It shows you the source and the link to the video, and then it will summarize the video for you. I lost everything twice, then made 26 million in 18 months. And then you can see here again, immediately this information. And I can actually ask some questions now. So how many times did it take to become successful? Let's have a quick look at what the response might be on this one. If I just come back into flows here and I just go to my flows, I can have a quick look again at, let's say, asking a chatbot here. We can go back to our chatbot here, and I can ask any question about this particular video as well, as long as I put in the name of the video, for instance, here. So I'm just going to add, how long did it take to become successful in I lost everything twice? So let's have a quick look. We're just going to save that flow and send that off. Based on the podcast, it took the speaker 21 days to make $100,000 in cash initially. Then after a significant setback where all the money was stolen, the speaker spent 48 hours writing a sales letter, which led to generating $26 million in revenue and $60 million in EBITDA in the following calendar year. So it took about 18 months to achieve the substantial success in the initial breakthrough. Thanks for watching the video today. Please like and subscribe and join me on the journey to unlock the potential of AI. I'll see you next time. I'm Chris from the Voice of AI. Cheers and bye-bye now.